second episode in building a $1 million AI agent startup. In this episode, I'm going to tell you about what I have done in the past 3 days. And we've actually got plenty of updates. And other than that, I will be talking about what will be our next steps, and I will be focusing especially on distribution, how I'm thinking about distribution, what I'm doing differently from having learned from my past mistakes, and how will we approach distribution with hire. So without further ado, let's jump into the updates. As you can see here in the landing page, I have made some minor changes. I've updated the copyright writing. I actually mentioned this in this past episode that the previous one I didn't really like that much. So I updated to stop wasting hours on jobs that ignore you. Here the focus is on value add. What's the value add? What problem this app is going to solve? This is very important right off the bat to be very clear and precise about what problem you're solving for the user. You want them to be immediately be able to relate to what it says here, so that they are curious about it. You want to make them curious about your app and want to continue reading. And then I added this little demo right here. We will talk about this in a minute, but I introduced this new feature to the app where it automatically also shows you who you can send a message to, who you can connect with to improve your chances of getting referred for this position. So here is a little demo, but we will look at that in the product updates. And then, minor updates here and there, little details. And this part is mostly the same. And one major thing I've actually done is I've added Spanish. And as you can see, all of this is obviously created by AI. I tested this with Turkish. I actually wanted to translate it to Turkish, which is another language I speak, and it did a pretty good job, and I gave it the right instructions. So if there are any Spanish-speaking people watching this, please check it out and give me a review, give me feedbacks. But I believe it's a good Spanish translation. And then we also, of course, have the Turkish landing page. So I made these. Now that we have LLMs that are really good, the strong LLMs, not the weak ones, the models Claude Opus or O3 or Grok with thinking, these models are really strong and really good, and they're very good at translating stuff. If you really tell them to not Google Translate and ask the translator and translate the meaning and make it sound native, if you give it these instructions, it actually does a pretty good job. So I recommend you try that for your apps too. And this is, of course, the beginning of the first localization steps of our app. Inside the app as well, we will be doing some localizations. We will be supporting multiple languages. And also, when we're thinking about distribution, we will be thinking about these too, because now the time that it takes to do these things, the localization is reduced to almost zero compared to past. When you wanted to make a localization for an app in a country, you would have to work with a translator. You would have to get it verified by 2 translators, maybe, if it's good enough or not. I may also a marketing person, a copywriting person also would have to look at that. Does it actually sound good or not, and things like that. But AI, maybe not at the best quality, but still you do the 80% of that job now with AI with very fast. So that's amazing news. Landing page updates. Let's continue with the app update. On to the app updates. What have I done? Regarding the updates in here, I have agreed to the terms of Apple in-app agreement, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but you have to do that. You have to give certain information to Apple to be able to eligible to support in-app purchases, and it's in total, and I was eligible, so we got that secured. One of the upcoming updates that I will be introducing to the app is going to be being able to pay. So right now it's still a dummy paywall. This is a nicer, more interactive, not interactive, but it has some movement. I chose the user that there's some intelligence going on in the background, trying to find them jobs, and then immediately are shown the jobs that match them. Right now, this is my profile. I onboarded with my resume, criterias, according to what I think, what I wanted to answer them. So right now, applications matches are quite good. Actually, they're exceeding my expectations. We're going pretty good at that, and we could obviously improve it, but for the most of the time, the matches that it is giving to me, looking at my background and looking at these jobs, is pretty good. I'm really liking it. And oh yeah, this is cool. Some minor updates to the UI in here in the home screen. Further updates will be coming. I will make this even nicer, but right now this is how the home screen looks. This is how you look at the jobs that you were matched with, and every couple hours the app notifies the user, sends a notification saying that you are matched with this many jobs. Check them out. And then let's say I want to check these out. As you can see, why you match section, I've implemented that fully. Those are completely AI generated match reasons. It looks at their user's profile, job, and gives feedbacks. And then what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this, AI usually doesn't do very well unless you specify it to do things very precisely. In our case, that's the profile of the user. We are looking for jobs for the user that perfectly match them, not slightly match them, but that they actually have a really good shot at getting an interview, at least for this job, because your profile is almost identical to what that job post seems to be searching for. So here, the purpose of this is AI is telling the user why it actually thought this is a good match. And then it might actually think not very accurately about some stuff here. For instance, it says PostgreSQL plus Redis skills perfect for identity verification data systems. Maybe I can say here, yeah, you are right, but my Redis experience is not that significant. I just used to help my teammates for a project, and that's it. You can just, with natural language, give it a feedback. And this feedback is actually sent to, again, another LLM that is responsible for updating your profile information. So thanks to this, we're hoping that when AI is now matching you with further jobs in the future, it will be even more accurate. So the more the user gives here, the more accurate it will be. There's a little glitch here, I just realized. We will have to fix that in the upcoming patch and also sync these updates too. That's the idea of the job match. And then love, and I think it looks really good, is this LinkedIn feature where it shows you which people you can reach out to get a better shot at this job. And it also shows you your LinkedIn connection distance to these people. For example, all these three people are 3 people away from me. So if it were 1 or 2, it would have been much easier for me to reach out to them. But I can still, if I have LinkedIn Sales Navigator or LinkedIn Premium for most of the cases, I can still reach out. And when you click one of the users, it shows you 2 options: generate message and see on LinkedIn. Generate message obviously generates a AI message, actually with a good model, using a good model, not a free slop model a lot of the people use, but a really strong model that creates a nice message. Let's check it out. It's actually personalized for me and this person too. It looks at both of our profiles and then tries to come up with a nice message, a nice intro message. Hi Vignesh, as a fellow phone instructor, blah blah blah, by the opportunity, blah blah blah, your background data and stream I perfect with my jobs, a chance to connect, blah blah. It's a nice warm message, touching to our common points, definitely open to improvement, but for the beginning it's very cool, and it makes it very easy. In my case, I have a LinkedIn Sales Navigator right now. It makes it very easy for me to reach out quickly to a person at that company. All these stuff that it says here are things that I would say. So without me losing any time writing all these time and time again to different people, what company was this? Outdoor Dash, yeah. I just send it this and that's it. Hopefully he replies. If he doesn't, I just shoot my shot in the best way I could, which is great. Those are the major updates that I've made. Other than that, UI changes. This part is still completely the same. As I get matched with jobs, I get them here, tagged as new if I have never checked them. Right now it says applied here. We will change this. We will probably say apply now and maybe change the color too. But for now, this is the state of the app, and little by little it's getting ready for our App Store launch. Getting on to the distribution, right now what ideas I have about distribution. Let's talk about these things. So distribution is very important, obviously. Like I mentioned in the first episode, it's even more important than product development now. Because now that you have these AI development tools, it's like matter of minutes sometimes to build an MVP. And if you have a software engineer background already, it takes you a lot less time, 5x, 10x less time that it would have taken a couple of years ago, 1 year ago. A lot of these tools, which we can do another video about what kind of tech stack do I use to build these apps, but a lot of these tools help you significantly reducing the cost and time required for developing a world-class app that looks nice, feels nice, and worthy that does what it says. So the distribution is even more crucial now, because now that you have these AI develops tools, you're gonna have apps raining left and right? Uh, Everybody's going to be able to build their apps and try to market it. One of the ideas that I've been kept coming across more frequently lately for the past couple months is this idea that now the influencers are the actual moat for a startup or a business. Being an influencer or having an influencer in your team is the actual moat. Even some people go to the extent to say that it's the only moat that you can have. Which could be true, because if if we had AGI and we could develop all sorts of apps that we wanted in a matter of minutes, and then build all the distribution pipelines in a matter of minutes too, which is relatively harder compared to building a product right now as of today, but I have no doubt that it would also become easier in the upcoming months, years. In that case, actually already having a audience that already listens to you, reads your tweets, or watches your videos is a very important moat. This is why that was the first thing I thought. Obviously, I'm not a influencer, or I don't have an audience. And the second thing I thought was that I could maybe start building an audience, which is, yeah, that's probably a good idea, but obviously it takes long. You cannot become an influencer overnight. Even the more prominent examples that we have these days, it takes months for them to build a story, and then they have these spikes here and there, but it takes time for them to build an actual audience, right? So in one hand, I will actually work on that and try to build my own audience. That's one leg of our distribution strategy. The other leg is actually getting another set of audience for hire only. So creating content that only targets to hires ICP, which means ideal customer profile, which is a very basic concept. It's basically you just assume a profile that you think is a person who's in desperate need of your product. In hires case, it's someone who is actively applying to jobs right now, who's sending applications left and right, day and night, applies to all LinkedIn easy applies, goes to the job board, sends messages as much as they can, and spends hours on this, only getting few replies and interviews. This is the beginning of our ICP. The further you go, the more detail you give, the better it is for you to validate that ICP. Does this person really, is this the person who is in desperate need of our product? You go to them, show your product, see how sticky it is with them. If it's not, you go to another ICP. If it is sticky, you go further down the pipeline of selling to that app. That's the whole strategy is based on this ICP idea. You can create multiple ICPs, test with them, validate with them, and then iterate, update the ICP. You learn more about them. Maybe they have other set of problems that you never even thought about, where you can slightly pivot the product and then solve that problem. To find the PMF, right? Because PMF is not only about tuning your product, but it's also about the market. It's also about your ICP. It's about your customers, really understanding them, and then tuning the product according to them. Or if you start thinking that maybe this is not the right customer, maybe you should go here, you could do that too. So you either tune the product or tune the market. You have two options. These are the things I always think about when it comes to PMF and distribution specifically. So we talked about my own audience, hire's own audience, and then very obvious third option could have been an even higher priority compared to these two, because it could be easier, could take a lot less time, which is something we need right now, because in under 60 days I need to raise $1 million. it is going to someone who already has an audience. Who that audience could be in desperate need of hire. And to be able to do that, I reached out to a couple people, talked to them, and actually one of them, we actually furthered the conversation with them and decided that we could actually do a post, a campaign together for their audience, because they told me that in their audience they're realizing this pattern where they're doom applying to jobs and not getting anything. And it's really frustrating for them. So some hire would definitely be interesting to them. So that's another thing we have. So as soon as we launch our app, it's already on the App Store, we will be doing a collab with this person who already has some amount of audience on LinkedIn. These are right now what we have. I will be continuing to make content. I will be making content to hires accounts. That we have TikTok right now for hire, and X. I'm creating content on both of them, little by little, baby steps, but it will get better over time. And we have this influencer that we are going to collab with as soon as we launch our app, which is crucial because as soon as we launch, we want to launch as fast as possible and get feedback as quick as possible. Actual real people need to use it, not your friends and family. Friends and family is cool, but very, very, very rarely will a friend or family give you bad feedback, honest feedback about your product, to speak completely honestly about it, because it's very obvious, right? They don't want to. They think that they will break your heart. They think that they will break your heart. They don't really think the way you think. They're not autistically looking at this thing, looking at people as feedbacks and trying to extract feedback from them. But they're looking at this as, oh, he's working on it, so this might be very special for him. So they're not going to give you very honest feedbacks even if they have them. So it's not going to be useful. So most of the time, you can just get a couple feedbacks here and there, especially from friends who are already working in that domain. Like for instance, if you already have friends that work in HR in the higher scales, you could go to them and show the product and things like that. But other than that, the general friends and family, you can just give them updates and here and there and things like that. But the feedback, the user feedback, what we call user interviews, you cannot usually do that with family and friends because they're not accurate. So this influencer collab that we will have is going to be very crucial, because there we will immediately see how valid the product we have is for this audience, and we will immediately be able to talk to some of them, hopefully, and get feedbacks, and then start to iterate over the product based on actual user feedback. In the early stages, this is all you want to do. Talk to the customers, build. Talk to the customers, build. And you have to set this up. The first steps is all about setting this up. So that's what we are working towards right now. So this is the quite in depth, actually. I've touched to multiple points and also gone a little bit deep on multiple of the distribution channels and basis of our strategy and all that. This is the distribution side of hire, and these are the things that we will continue to do, improve on, and you will see what are the results going to be in the upcoming weeks. And lastly, to give a little bit more updates, I've been applying to a lot of accelerators, and right now I'm in the interview process with a couple of them. And hopefully, if that goes well too, it would be awesome to take this channel and do some videos within an accelerator that's actually well known. That would be very exciting. I hope that it goes well. Even if it doesn't go well, we'll just keep on building our product, getting the results, and continue iterating, basically. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the updates. Hopefully, in the upcoming weeks, we will start getting some traction, some users. We will have launched our app, which is very exciting. So, see you in the next episodes. Goodbye.